The rain had been relentless all evening, drumming against the tin roof like a warning. Mark Thompson, a single father juggling 2 jobs, glanced at the clock. It was past 10, and his 7-year-old daughter Lily had already fallen asleep upstairs. Sighing, he rubbed his temples. Rent was overdue, bills were piling up, and every day felt like a race he was losing. A soft knock at the door startled him. "Hello? Is anyone home?" A trembling voice called. Mark opened the door to a young woman, drenched and shivering, her face pale under the hood of a soaked jacket. She clutched her stomach with one hand, her other hand gripping a small duffel bag. I need a place to stay," she said quietly, almost apologetically. Something in her eyes, fragile, desperate, tugged at Mark's heart. He hesitated for just a second. The rent she could pay might not even cover a week, but he couldn't leave her in the storm. "Come in," he said. "I've got a spare room." The young woman introduced herself as Emma. She was shy, spoke little about herself, and often kept to her room. Mark noticed the way she flinched when money was mentioned, or when he asked about family. There was a story there, one she wasn't ready to tell, and Mark, exhausted though he was, respected that silence. Over the next few days, Emma's presence began to change the small apartment. She cooked meals when Mark returned late, tidied the living room, and even sang softly to Lily, who adored her immediately. Mark marveled at the care and calm she brought into their chaotic life. One evening, as Mark was checking the mail, he noticed an envelope addressed to Emma from a prestigious law firm. Curiosity got the better of him, and he carefully opened it. The letter inside detailed a vast inheritance and a legal claim to her family's multi-million-dollar estate. Heart-pounding, Mark realized the truth. Emma was a runaway heiress. Her modest demeanor, her hidden vulnerability, it had all been a facade, a desperate attempt to escape pressures and expectations she couldn't handle. The next morning, he confronted her gently. "Emma, I think I know who you really are." She froze, tears welling up. I didn't want anyone to treat me differently. I just wanted to be normal." "For a while," Mark smiled softly. "Well, to me, you've been more than normal. You've been family." Emma broke down, finally letting go of the walls she had built. Over the next few days, she shared her story, the suffocating wealth, the impossible expectations, and the fear that nobody would ever see her as just Emma. Mark listened, silently grateful that kindness and a little human decency had created a safe space for someone so lost. Eventually, Emma returned to her family, but things were different now. She had a newfound confidence and a deep understanding of what truly mattered. And before she left, she handed Mark an envelope. Inside was enough money to cover his rent for the year, a scholarship for Lily's school, and a heartfelt note. "You showed me kindness when I needed it most. I'll never forget that. The world is better because of people like you." Mark watched as she walked away, the rain now a soft drizzle. He held Lily close, smiling. Life hadn't suddenly become perfect, but hope and humanity had been restored in the smallest, most unexpected ways. Sometimes, he realized, the richest treasures weren't found in money or status, but in compassion, courage, and a willingness to open one's heart. Weeks passed, and the apartment felt quieter without Emma, yet her presence lingered in small ways. A neatly folded blanket on the couch, a note she had left for Lily with a drawing of a sun and rainbow. Mark had used the unexpected gift wisely. He paid off the overdue rent, fixed a few things around the apartment, and even enrolled Lily in some after-school art classes she had been dreaming about. Every time he saw her excitedly packing her backpack, he felt a quiet pride and a renewed sense of purpose. One Saturday morning, a letter arrived from Emma. This time, it wasn't from a law firm, but a personal invitation. She wanted them to visit her at her family estate, not to flaunt wealth, but to share a simple meal and spend time together. Mark hesitated. He was nervous about stepping into her world of luxury, worried about being out of place. But Lily's eyes sparkled as she whispered, "Can we go, Dad? It'll be an adventure." When they arrived, Emma greeted them like an old friend, not a wealthy heiress. She laughed freely, introduced them to her friends, and even showed them the small garden she had started to tend herself. The contrast between her opulent surroundings and her grounded nature fascinated Mark. During lunch, Emma spoke quietly, almost shyly. "I wanted to show you both that no matter where you come from, kindness and family matter more than anything else." Lily reached over and held Emma's hand. "You're my best friend," she declared. Mark smiled, realizing that the bond they had formed wasn't about money or status. It was about trust, empathy, and shared humanity. That day, Mark saw something he hadn't noticed before. Wealth can buy comfort, but it cannot buy the sense of belonging. The small moments of laughter, the warmth of a hand held when life feels overwhelming. And in helping Emma, they had all been enriched in ways far beyond dollars. On the drive home, Lily leaned her head on his shoulder. "Daddy, maybe we should always help people like Emma." Mark glanced at her, his heart full. "Yes, Lily, and maybe one day the world will be full of people just like her. And us." As they pulled into their modest apartment building, the sunset painted the sky in shades of gold and rose. Mark realized that life didn't need to be perfect to be beautiful. Sometimes the simplest acts of kindness ripple farther than we could ever imagine. And in that quiet, fleeting moment, he understood the true measure of wealth, compassion, courage, and the love that binds people together, even strangers who become family.